Okay, today we're going to do Unit 6 Notes number 4, which is factoring with real-world applications. So we've already kind of done this with our rectangles and finding the area. We're just going to add one more piece at the end. So what you will be able to do today is you will be able to solve real-world problems. Ooh, let me spell problems right. With quadratics. Okay, so first let's go over what is the area of a rectangle. This is going to be important to know. Our area is our length times our width. So anytime we are given length and width, we're going to multiply them together. So the first one says a rectangle shed's width is 3 feet less than its length. The area of the shed is 130 square feet. What are the room's dimensions? So we're going to have to fully figure out the numbers, but let's first start by drawing our picture. So we have our rectangle, which is our room. It says the width is 3 less than the length. So we know nothing about the length. So that's where we're going to put X. And then the width is 3 less, so it's going to be X minus 3. And you guys, I'm going to kind of rewrite this. I just want to write them on two sides since I'm just going to be dealing with area, so we don't kind of confuse perimeter. So it says write an equation representing the area of the shed. So we have to multiply our length times our width. So we're going to have X times X minus 3. And then our area, it gave it to us up here, which was 130. So equals 130. So our first step is we're going to distribute. So we're going to get X squared minus 3X equals 130. And then the tricky part is we're going to subtract over the 130. Now the 130 I can't combine with anything, so we're going to get X squared minus 3X minus 130 equals 0. Now what we have to do is we're going to bring this equation down and we're going to factor it. So that way we can actually find what X equals. So what plus what equals negative 3, but multiplied together equals negative 130. So these are going to be a little bit harder. So you're going to have to really use your calculator on these. So 130, you can start with 9. You're going to have to probably go bigger. So I'm trying to find this because I haven't done it yet. So work for a minute and try to find it. This one is actually an easier one. Why I didn't think of it, I have no idea. But you're going to do 10 and 3. And your 10 is going to have to be the one that's negative. So you're going to, your 13 is going to be negative since you want. So negative 13 and 10. So we're going to have X minus 13, X plus 10 equals 0. So since we have this equals 0 at the end, that means we have to solve. So we're going to put each of these equal to 0. So X minus 13 equals 0. And X plus 10 equals 0. So we're going to get X equals 13 because we add it to both sides. And then we're going to get X equals a negative 10. So I want you to think about this. X is our width. Can I have a negative number as my width? No. So we can automatically cross this one out. So our X is 13. So this means, going back to our top, our length, because that's the one we don't know anything about, is 13 feet. And then our width is X minus 3, so it's 10 feet. So those are our two dimensions. Okay, let's go down to number 2. Mrs. Mariani is designing a garden that she needs the area of the garden to be 60 square feet for all of her plants. She wants the width to be 2 feet shorter than twice the length. She thinks it'll make it prettier. She's crazy. So we have draw a picture representing the garden's dimensions. So we're going to first draw a rectangle of Mrs. Mariani's garden. Such a lovely place. And we know that our width is 2 feet shorter than our length. So we know nothing about our length, so we're going to put x. Now our width, it's twice the length. So that's what you would be, since it's twice, it's 2 times x. But it's 2 feet shorter than twice the length, so we still have to minus 2. So those would be my dimensions. So I'm going to create my equation. X times 2x minus 2 equals what did she say her total area was? Was it 60 up here? Yeah. 60. So I'm going to distribute. I'm going to get 2x squared minus 2x equals 60. I'm going to subtract my 60 over. So I'm going to get 2x squared minus 2x minus 60 equals 0. So now I'm going to go down and factor it. So my first thing, we don't see that x is by itself, so there should be a GCF. So can I pull a number out of 2, 2, and 6? 60? Yes, you can pull out a 2. So you're going to bring out a 2. X squared minus 2 minus x minus 30 equals 0. Then we're going to factor this. What plus what equals negative 1, and what times what equals negative 30. So on this one is actually pretty easy because it's negative 30. Our multiples would be 5 and 6. You're going to want that 6 negative since you want a negative 1. So factored, we would have 2 times x minus 6 and x plus 5 equals 0. So now we have to take each part and we have to set it equal to 0. 2 equals 0. That's not true. X minus 6 equals 0, and x plus 5 equals 0. Add 6, x equals 6, minus 5, x equals negative 5. We cannot have a negative length or width, so negative 5, so x would equal 6. So if we take this back up here, we know our length is going to be 6 feet. And then our width, we have to kind of do some calculations. So our width, it's 2 times our x, which is 6, minus 2. So it's going to be 12 minus 2, which is going to give you 10 feet. And those are our dimensions of Mrs. Mariani's garden. Okay. Oh, does anybody have any questions over either of those two? So if you do, please let Mrs. Mariani or I know. Okay, so the next one, it says solve the following. So whenever it says solve, we have to set each part equal to 0. So I'm going to have 2 equals 0. That's not true, though. X plus 8 equals 0. And 2x minus 7 equals 0. Minus 8, x equals negative 8. Add 7. 2x equals 7. Divide by 2. You get x equals 7 halves. So those are my two solutions. So write those as a solution set. Negative 8, comma 7 halves, because negative 8 is smaller than 7 halves. Okay, next one is solve the following. Now this one, we don't have our parentheses first, so we're first going to have to factor it. So what plus what equals negative 7, and what times what equals a positive 12. So this, you should get negative 4 and negative 3. So we're going to have y equals, because we want to leave that, x minus 4, x minus 3. Now I have my two parentheses. So I'm going to take each of those and set it equal to 0. So I'm going to have x minus 4 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0. Add 4, x equals 4. Add 3, x equals 3. So those are my two solutions. So we got to write them out as a solution set. Negative 3. 3, 4. Okay, last one, we just have to factor. We just have to pull out our GCF. So a common factor between 25 and 5 would be 5. You have 1x and 2x's, so you can only put an x, and you have a y in each one, so you can pull out a y. Leftovers, 25 divided by 5 is 5. You pull out an x, you pull out a y, so nothing else left. 5 divided by 5 is 1. You had 2 x's, you pulled one out, so you have 1 left. You had a y, you pulled it out. So this would be your answer. Okay, I did that video pretty quick, so please let me know if you guys have any questions.